Welcome back, everyone. Just before the break, we were talking to Miss Annette Charimpa about her take on the entire series, and as a parent, you know, if it had an impact on the nature of conversation that she has been having with her children, or which she hopes to have in future. But before that, we'd like to tell you that we are still having the conversation on Twitter. You still have a chance to join in and discuss whatever issues we are discussing using the hashtag Sexuality Education UG. Mr. Charles Owekimeno, I want to now tackle the issue of feedback. You know, we have a parent in the house, so I believe you've taken her feedback also in good faith. I'd love for you to tell us the nature of feedback that you're getting from different people, the children themselves, you know, the parents, your fellow programmers as well. What's that nature of feedback? Is there any form of criticism? Has it been appreciated? Has it been welcomed? What do you have to say about that?
Thank you, Daisy. We're actually surprised at the kind of feedback that we have received. There's a lot of appreciation from the young people, from the parents themselves. They like the content. And remember, in this country, there was a lot of fear about sexuality education. Even us, when we were designing this package, we were so much worried that it would not be accepted. But I can tell you that we have gotten a lot of positive feedback. People are saying, thank you, thank you. And the young people are appreciating the kind of questions that were asked during the sessions by their fellow young people, and the kind of answers that they got. But they also feel that most of the issues that they could not speak about were really properly discussed during the series. The other feedback we got is, and it's mainly a concern, and we have taken it really seriously, is about the young people in the rural areas who do not have access to the televisions. So as a programming team, we have discussed this. We are going to try to cascade this series to make sure that it reaches out to those young people in the rural communities. We are also inviting other partners who work with young people, because NTV has been good to us. They're going to give us a copy of the package, so they can be able to air it out, whether in the local chibandas, and so that we can have as many young people as possible reach with this. The other feedback that we received, and we have also taken it again seriously, is what exactly Annette spoke about, that we need to scale up this conversation amongst the parents, amongst the other family members, so that young people are protected across the board. Because sometimes the parents know, but the risk comes through the house girl, the chamber boys, the people who lure these young people come through those entries. So we have to make sure that everyone at home has access to this information, and they're able to know that here there's risk. I have to protect this young person from this and this. But generally, we have gotten really very positive feedback. As a team, we are very happy about this. And I'm also, in a special way, we want to thank Ministry of Education, because when we gave them this content, we were so much worried that they will not accept. But when they read through the content, they felt that it's a very, very good content, and they gave us a go-ahead to air it. And surprisingly, even other people were so much concerned about sexuality education and health education for young people generally. Like religious leaders, most of them have reached out to us, and they were really very appreciative of the content that we have aired out. And so we are hoping that with this, we can be able to take the issues of health education for young people forward, and cascade it in different environments where young people are growing. And I'll be sharing more about this as the discussion goes by. Thank you.
Very interesting there. I implored my young sister at home to sit down and watch this series. Whenever I was at office, I'd be like, Nicole, sit down and watch, you know, because I believe it's actually impactful. And she learned a lot, because when we had the conversations after, when I'm back from work, she'd sit down and she'd tell me, oh, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. But now we have Gillian, who was actually there herself. Gillian, I want to pick your mind about the content that was offered to you. Do you think it was relevant enough? And if do you feel there is something that was lacking, that extra thing, you know, that you would have wanted to be given, but then it wasn't given to you that you expected it?
I think, okay, it was nice content, but okay, some parts were lacking. Okay, like, let me say the one I acted in, teenage pregnancy. It was just like questions, how do you feel to be a mother? Like, but okay, I don't feel like there's information there. Yeah. I feel like it needs to
go a little deeper.
Yeah.
To go deeper.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Mr. Charles is here listening to you. He's going to take that feedback in good faith,
sure,
you know.
For sure.
So she's saying that thing, you know, and she's speaking with emotion. It's coming deep from her heart. She wanted it to go a bit deeper. But I believe even what was offered clearly gave you at least a direction, you know. It gave you an open mind to, you know, accept that these things need to be talked about, and to also see that, you know, you know how to drive the discussion in case you're having it with your fellow peers or with your parents, you know. Miss Annette Cherimpa, I want to come to you. As a mother and as someone who has worked and is working in SRHR programming, when it comes to issues of health and life skills education, how do you find a balance between the two? Are your children, are they like somehow expectant, you know? Sometimes, you know, my mom works in SRHR, so she's supposed to do this. But then again, you as a mother, you have your reservations maybe about certain issues.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, as a mother and a professional in the same area of discussion, sometimes you do your motherly role, but forget that what you're actually doing for other people, you also need to do it at home.
Yeah.
So the balance is important, but I've used different measures to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
When I learn about opportunities for young people to participate in discussions, in meetings, I use them. So that I actually take my children, they are part of the peer education programs, they come to our Reproductive Health Uganda to participate in the discussion. So I know that much as a parent I need to have the discussion, I take the opportunity when it comes for exposure. Secondly, I carry the materials, and some materials I take home to see what the comments are going to be. It can be a topic on anything. On teenage pregnancy, we have read about unsafe abortion in the country, sexually transmitted infection, HIV, for them to read, and then you ask, did you read this material and what did you pick from this? Yeah, and sometimes you bring up a topic, either over lunch or supper, and ask, you know, have you had your periods and how is it going? Then, you know, you start off a little bit of discussion. Yeah, and also, of course, it becomes difficult to balance. Sometimes you get from work and you're really, really tired.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then you want to close yourself somewhere to have a rest, but then you remember, oh, I need to have time with my children. And I have a 10-year-old who keeps saying, we need to have a mommy to daughter moment. So that is also an opportunity to say, okay, this child can actually come to me, and then we can open up and have a discussion. So having that opportunity for your child to actually ask for that moment is also important, but it has also, it also means you have built that relationship and you don't take it for granted, because there are children who can't even come close to their parents to talk about anything in life. It's either question or answer session only, but not this kind of dialogue. So balancing is a little challenging, but I'm calling upon all parents to have mommy or daddy to child kind of discussion, but also letting them know that talking about particular things is very, very important in their lives. You see this young girl growing up, the breasts are coming, but you never mention anything to them, and yet you expect miracles to happen over them. So as the breasts come in, talk about issues of menstruation, because that is the next issue that they are going to be faced with. And then they do not know how to keep themselves clean from that moment. And then as the breasts come in, peer pressure is going to set in. And who is going to give them information to understand that, you know, I must resist. I must have my values. I must stand for what I believe in. I don't want to get into this trap. That is important. And then trying to sieve the information. Sometimes you need to double check who are their friends, what kind of conversations are they having, what implications do this information they are getting having on their lives. But again, when it comes to discussion, you look at some of them who are really shy, who are trying to avoid the discussion, try to find out more, what exactly are they running away from. So it gives us an opportunity to have like that kind of 360 discussion to say, okay, let me take this child individually to understand them, but also find out, try to pair them sometimes. You know that child A and child B can have a good kind of team. Or it could be a cousin, it could be an auntie where you feel you cannot, but we need to break the barriers that are actually stopping us from having fruitful discussion with the children, whether they are religious or cultural, or what we went through as parents. Probably we did not have that opportunity to speak to our parents, and it's becoming a barrier. So it's important to say, okay, how do I turn around issues as a parent, stand confidently for my children, but also want to see the best out of them. The schools have been helping in one way or the other, but we now have the children at home. So how do we use this opportunity to bridge in the gap? Probably in terms of bringing in a guest speaker. This could be an auntie or a friend that the children are very probably free to talk to. Not this kind of person who again who will scare them away from the discussion, but parents must take the lead. We must really work around the challenges that have affected us as a country and use the information we get. The media has been talking about these issues. These are not secrets anymore. You see a page cover, teenage pregnancy in this community. So many girls have gone, have had child marriages. So just bring that clip and start off the discussion. Would you want to be in such a situation, and how do we avoid such situations? Thank you.
And thank you so much, Ms. Annette. You've talked about something really important, which is a parent needs to be friends with their child, you know.
Yeah.
But then while we look at parents being the primary, having the primary responsibility, there are other stakeholders as well, for example, the religious leaders. And I'd love for us to look into that immediately after the break.
Okay.